Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and today I have with me Frank Darby, who's a wide receiver out of Arizona State. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Doing well, man. I mean, it's great to have you, on. Just wanted to, get to know you a little bit. Why don't you go ahead? I mean, just tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
So I'm from Jersey, New Jersey. Born and raised. That's where I played football, basketball. The way like person that shaped me just coming from that city. So I'm excited to say I'm from Jersey City and I made it this far.
All right. So, walk me through that recruiting process, man. Like, how'd you get yourself out, way out west to Arizona State?
So my whole motive was to get far away from Jersey as much as possible so I could stay focused. I
Okay.
didn't want to go to a school where I was able to drive back home and get myself caught into a situation I didn't need to get caught up into. So one of my biggest offers that my junior year was Iowa. When Iowa came out with an offer, I immediately took a visit there and ended up committing to them my whole junior year. So my whole senior year in high school, I was a Hawkeye, committed Hawkeye, and was getting ready to go to Iowa to play football. Due to the fact that the SAT, I didn't take the SAT test, and signing day was before that. I had to. They basically just pulled my scholarship and told me to reopen my recruiting process, and you know, let them know what the score is going to be when I took my SAT test. So when I took my SAT test, I passed it and everything. I let them know, but they still wasn't trying to allow me in. So Coach Furman just told me, just open up recruitment and basically just tell me to go find another school. So I opened my recruitment up, and a wide receiver coach named Jay Novell. He was the position coach at Arizona State at the time. He came up all the way to Jersey on like a 1-day trip, and it was amazing. It was so funny because we connected right then and there. So once he brought me out there to Arizona State, I loved it. I loved the environment. I love how hot it was. And I also loved that it was a far plane ride from Jersey City where I was able to get back if I wanted to. So that's how I ended up getting out there far away and west. And so I could become successful and just focus on what I need to be focused on.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if you look back a few years, I mean, Arizona State's actually had some pretty good wide receivers. I mean, you figure a few years back, I mean, you had N'Keal Harry really breaking out, do amazing things, and then Brandon Ayuk, he blew up and did very well and got drafted high. So I mean, obviously, you got yourself into that receiving core. Tell me just a little bit about that receiving core, man. Just kind of being a part of that group.
It was amazing, and it was some guys there that was also there with me too that had amazing talent too that I could pick off of. So, but N'Keal Harry and Brandon Ayuk, like, we all became like best friends, and we all we would all train together, due to the fact that Ayuk came in after us, but me and N'Keal always trained together as far as lifting because he was a big guy, he was a big guy that loved to lift. So one thing about me, I'm into training. So when I seen him, working and putting in all the time in, because he was trying to reach a point where I didn't think I could reach. So I tried to do everything he was doing because whatever he was doing was putting himself in a position to make it to the NFL. So that's why I got real close with him so we could train. I know the knowledge that he got in his head so he could help me get to the point I'm at. With Brandon, he came in, we was competing against each other for that Z position. And one thing I had over him was I knew the playbook. So, but he was always a great route runner. He had long arms, great hands. His hands was bigger than mine. So I always tried to pick the little things out on his game that he didn't like doing, and that's how I was able to stay out there on the field when we was competing. We were just sharing reps. But the year that we both, had the opportunity to start on each side, it was amazing. We trained together, we pushed each other in the weight room, we pushed each other on the field. When I'm in the weight room, I was pushing him. When we on the field, he pushing me to run a route better. So it's like being with them guys and, being at their first round guys, and I learned so much from them. It's just like it was time for me, and I thought I was ready to have an amazing year, which I couldn't have due to COVID issues.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, COVID played a huge factor in like this past, round. I mean, obviously, a lot of built up hopes, for this last season. I mean, you figure, you know, people thought you were the next guy in that list, So, what was it? You were on the Blitnikoff Award, watch list, and a lot of people just, again, like I said, I mean, expecting you to really, follow the trend there.
Right.
Let's just take a step back a little bit. I mean, you are a little bit of a different receiver than those two other guys that were your teammates. You kind of hinted at maybe doing a little bit of the dirty work that maybe not everybody really wants to do as a receiver. So, talk to me about you as a receiver and what you bring to the table specifically.
So one thing I'm gonna bring to the table is like one is that I'm like a vertical threat. That's one of my favorite routes. Just throw the ball past the safety and I'm gonna take care of it. And it showed in like my highlights previous years at Arizona State where I would just come in the game and just take the top off and then come out, just to change the momentum of the game, for towards us. So that was one thing about me just coming to the table. And then also my energy and my passion for the game and the way I compete. It's not like I'm not gonna go out there and suck up, cry or anything because I'm not getting the ball my way. Because there's other ways I can help the team win. And if that was for me going in and making a block for a running back to make a hole, or if that was for me to run a vertical, MOR route, like mandatory outside route, just to get the inside wide receiver open, that's what I had to do. So anything I needed to do to go out there and play on the field with them guys, that's what I did. It wasn't a time when I was like the go-to guy, but I knew sooner or later a ball was gonna come to me if I just keep working hard and just keep practicing hard and just show them that I know I know what to do out there and I'm not scared and I'm ready to go. And that's how I was able, once I kept doing that and showing them hard work each and every day, that's when things started coming my way in a good way.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, you did have a lot of great plays. Did have a lot of balls thrown your way. But again, as you had mentioned before, I mean, COVID played a huge factor in the last year, and obviously we're still, being affected by it. But let's just take a step back. I mean, obviously, Pac-12. I mean, like the last Power Five team to Power Five conference to go out there and say, "Hey, yeah, we'll come in like everybody else is doing it. Why not?" And then of course, you guys got out there, and I mean, unfortunately, you had a little injury that kind of set you back. So, walk us through a little bit of that, just to share with me
You
that
know,
experience.
COVID was tough, dealing with COVID this past year and this off season was tough. I look at it as being a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing was that I had more time to train and get myself better and get myself prepared for all the little things that everybody was wondering what I could do if I got made become the ex receiver. So that's why I was looking at COVID as being a good thing because I got time to get with my coaches, got more time to catch more footballs. I got more time to learn the new playbook when Coach Hearn brought the OC in. On the bad side, it was just like it didn't have this. It prevented me from having the season I was training for. And and it sucked because like I looked at this past off season was like one of my best years, like one of my hardest off season I ever put in. Just because so I could show Coach Herm that I could be a guy just like Nikhil and Ayuk. One thing about me also is that I never try to compare myself to Brandon Ayuk and Nikhil Harry. That's not like as you're saying, like I don't compare my success to theirs. Everybody is different. So I didn't want to try to put that stress on my back when everybody was talking about could he be the next first round guy? Could he do this? Could he do that? I was just like, I'm a good enough player to help, ASU win games. And that's how I looked at it. And if I get the opportunity of doing a lot of good things out there and performing at a high level, maybe, I could fill in that spot that being that next high drafted wide receiver coming out of Arizona State. And then COVID, it slowed it down. It slowed it down for me. But due to the fact that I got invited to the Senior Bowl, I just took all that hard work I put in off season and try to put it into 1 week and go out there. It's basically like I was just taking a risk for myself and trying to go out there and make something happen and try to make some money whenever I had the chance to and each and every rep.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you had the opportunity to go out to the Senior Bowl. I mean, really be able to go out there with the best really in college football and compete. Any other just experiences from that event that you want to share? I mean, obviously you were out in Mobile for a little bit. any stories that you want to share? Anybody you connected with out there? Just kind of chat with me about that.
I probably would say I had like the best time of my life out there in Mobile. It was amazing. The people was great that was hosting it, from the staff members to the players. Everyone was cool, you got some guys that's coming in with the mindset to not mess with nobody, want to be all, I'm big dog, I'm this, I'm trying to come take your position, I'm trying to get picked higher than you. My whole motive was going out there just having fun, being myself, Didn't want to get myself caught up into that. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. If I'm a happy person, I'm gonna always be a happy person. I ain't gonna switch it off because this would make me better, and this would make some of the players around me better when they competing with me, because I'm always bringing my best, and I'm always push the guys to be my best. And one thing about the senior bowl I really love was like the receiver core that was there. We all was connected. Like we all wanted to see each other do good, and we was helping each other with the playbook. We was, how some guys don't even have to say nothing to you at all. Go study on your own. So this receiver core, and it was just it was so special, being around all that talent, and me, I'm just watching them go first. You see me sometimes, I'm just in the back trying to pick tools out. Like let everybody else go, and I'm just trying, oh, he did it that way, he did it that way. Let me try to take that out of his game and go work it on my own. So a lot of times when you see me out there, I was in the back of the line with just me observing all these top players coming out, because it's like you get this opportunity to come out here with these 5-star recruits, 4-star recruits coming out of high school. It's like you mentioned earlier, I was a 3-star recruit, and I never even got the opportunity to play against all these different conferences, wide receivers and cornerbacks too. I ain't played against them. So I wanted to see what was special for everybody. And that was one amazing thing about the Senior Bowl with me, just like the connection I had with the whole team, especially with the coaching staff, with the Dolphins. It was just amazing for me. They made it fun for me. They gave me opportunities. I went out there and competed. I won some, you lose some, but I still looked at it as like, these are the top guys in the country, Frank. Sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you're going to lose, but always remember, get them more than they get you. So it was just like, just me. Then with the media, the interviews, like I was having fun. It's a media, it's an interview out of me just rapping on the mic, talking to the talking to the media guys, just being funny, making them laugh, just showing everybody I'm having a good time. And it was a blessing just to be there. And then I was trying to go out there and take advantage of that opportunity they gave me.
Yeah, and I guess really the next thing on your schedule is a pro day, which is approaching rapidly. Obviously, I mean, right now I know that you're, at home in New Jersey, gonna eventually make your way back out west to be out there for that pro day again, March 29th. Tell me maybe. I don't know. You have any goals for that? Pro day. I mean, anything that you want to show scouts that you can do?
So one thing I'm looking at pro day as practice.
Okay.
That's how I'm looking at it, and that's how I'm approaching it. Because I always practice hard each and every day. So I want to look at it as practice. I don't want to look at it like a pro day to get myself like all aroused up or like anxious. I'm trying to stay relaxed as possible. But when I go out there, I'm looking to do a lot of good things. I want to show them that. I want to show them the deepest threat, the deepest pass ever out there. Somebody could throw it like 60, 70 yards. I'm going to show them I can catch that too, and most importantly, showing that I'm fast. I want to go out there and I'm trying to run like a low 4.4. A lot of people don't think I got that in me, and my whole motive is just going out there and just also doing my position drills, smooth, quick, making sure I get in and out my breaks, showing basically like really showing the scouts that I could run the intermediate routes. Because a lot of my film, you just see me going vertical and just catching the deep threat, catching the deep ball and just scoring touchdowns. You never really see me take a slant to a house. You never see me run a dig route. Those are all the little routes, all the intermediate routes. I want to go out there and, run them full speed and making sure I'm cutting on the right foot, breaking out of it, and looking every ball into my tuck, and to show them that I'm a locked in football player that has a lot of energy and he's going to compete, and they're going to love me once I come to this program and they develop me into the person they want me to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, I mean, scouts are really going to want to see you do like a complete route tree, and also see like, I don't know, maybe, if they can move you around there. I mean, if you could be a slot receiver, if they want to keep you out wide, so we'll see. Hopefully, you'll get that opportunity to showcase like, all those different routes and everything for guys. I mean, and obviously, I mean, I think everybody really wants to hit that 4.4. That's like the magic number.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever you do, man, I mean, just, I don't know, be proud of whatever you do, because I mean, obviously you've been working hard to achieve
Right.
it. So um, let's let's continue a little bit. I mean, I do want to ask you a couple questions just so that to kind of get in your head a little bit. So um, let's talk about you as a student of the game. So as a student of the game, you obviously got to get in, study your opponents, and hopefully it plays out in a game time situation. So, um, during your career so far, I mean, have you been able to really dive into some tape, study your opponent, and it really play out in a game situation? Can you give me an example?
Yeah. So one thing about me, I'm a film junkie. Like I would sit down and watch film for hours and hours. Just to trying to figure out who my opponent is and how can we get them and how can we beat the corners, that's going against me. So one thing about me, I always was going out there. I always was just watching film and just trying to figure out like who's this guy is that I'm going against and how I'm going to beat him, like I just said before. But it's just like, so let me just give you an example because that's what I was thinking about. So far as like this past junior year Oregon game, there was a number 6 school coming in, getting an opportunity to try to compete to go to the playoffs. When I say the year before that, when we lost to them and they said my foot was out of bounds on the 2-point conversion, that's what put the chip on my shoulder saying when I seen them again, I was going to be able to go out there and do my best and play my hardest. So I studied them for a year. I studied Oregon for a year, each corner, each DB. And as we was going through games as a season, I was always turning something on about them, watching one of their games and also watching my next opponent too. But I was always making sure because they was doing so well, I was like, we're gonna run into these boys when at their best. So I make sure I gotta be my best. So I remember getting interviewed by ASU and I was telling them about the DBs and how I thought they wasn't, as good as everybody thought they were, and I just said that they rely on their defensive line because they had an amazing defensive line that was getting to the quarterback. And I was like, okay, I feel like just noticing on film, like these DBs get lazy when they defensive line get into the backfield, stopping the run. So I remember my first touchdown, we was getting into one of the corners. He pushed me, he shoved me, and I tell him, all right, watch this. I go out there and I give him a 1-2. And then I see his safety come down, stuttered him and kept it going. That's when I caught that deep pass on the sideline. And when you look back to the alignment, the protection was amazing, and that was just one thing I was preaching on him all the time. I was like, line, this is a big game for y'all. You got these draft picks on the line, and none of y'all not draft picks yet. So you stop this dude that people trying to invest money in the future. Stop him, and maybe you get your name up there. And that was one thing the line did. They had an amazing game blocking. Jaden had threw me 2 touchdowns, threw Brandon the touchdown, hit me on some screens. Hit me on like a short route. We was doing a lot of great things that game, and that's one thing I'm just saying about me, like just being like a person that's always into filming, always trying to go out there and pick the things out so you could beat your opponent. There's always something into another player that he could work on, or maybe he just ain't good at it, and you could just attack that about him and watch how a lot of great things happen. It's gonna make him frustrated. Now he's starting to mess up other techniques and start thinking about doing something different. And now you just got him all in your control in your hands. So that's me just being a student of the game, just always watching film and breaking down my opponent as much as possible so I could win on each and every rep against them.
Yeah, I mean, you talked a lot about there. Obviously you had to get in, study, Oregon. I mean, obviously Oregon's a really good ball team. I mean, very successful. But like you said, I mean, if you put in your work and studied them, I mean, you could find ways to pick anybody apart really. And
Right.
I think if you were to ask most people within the draft community, they probably have several guys on that defense that are likely going to get drafted. Some of which fairly high. And to be able to say that you were able to pick them apart and find their weaknesses and exploit them, I think that that's important. So it's good to be able to share that with people.
Yeah.
Um, Frank, I think we just kind of need to know at this time, like a little bit more about you. I mean, obviously, we know you as a football player. Talk to me about something about you that maybe not everybody knows that you're willing to share. So go ahead and give me, I don't know, any hobbies, interests, anything that you want to share in this video that maybe not everybody knows about
So, you know, everybody really know me about this energy, high energy guy that never really get tired. You know, he always smiling. He got a bright soul. You know, one thing I like to do is, you know, I like to cook, you know, especially the soul food dishes. Anybody can eat my macaroni and cheese, they gonna love it, you know. And, you know, some of my best TV shows I like to watch is Law and Order Special Victims Unit and actually the TV show Snowfall. You know, the reason why I like Snowfall because the main character in there, his name is Frank. So when I be here, so I'm watching the show, you hear Frank. I'm just like, wow. And then at that in that show, he was a boss. You know, he was like the leader of everybody. And sometimes, and I didn't look at how he was leading. I was just completely opposite. So it's just like when me watching that show, it's like I get that motivation as like him being a boss, and I could be a boss soon. You know, that's like especially like on the field or like basically being like a captain. You know, on like a team or something. You know, just trying to push everybody to be great and making sure everybody do good. You know, that's one thing about me. And I also play basketball still. A lot of people like, oh, you probably can't ball no more. And yeah, I could shoot, I could dribble, I could dunk. You know, I still could do that, and I feel like I got way better. You know, if I could get a chance to go back to high school and play the way I play now, I'll probably go D1. You know, but you know, that's just something I just like to do. Like on my like free time when I'm not training for football or playing on the football field.
Great. I mean, obviously, fun stuff, man. Probably one of the things that I like best about you is you always got a smile.
Yeah,
So, I mean, hopefully, when people get a chance to actually meet you, I mean, obviously they see the same thing, and obviously, a great athlete that they can utilize on the field. So,
right.
I did want to give you just a quick minute to give some shout outs. Not too many because this video is already going over a little bit, but
All right.
give me a few shout outs for some people that really mean a lot to you. Um, Real quick, go for it.
Okay. I want to give a shout out to my beautiful daughter, Ava. She's 3 years old. I want to shout out to House of Athlete Mo Williams and Brandon Marshall for helping me come here and become great. And also want to give a shout out to my mother. You know, rest in peace. You know, I lost her in this process, and I'm gonna keep going to get my name called on April 29th for her. You know, and also shout out to my sister. You know, that's my backbone now, and she gonna see me, you know, achieve things that we both didn't know I can achieve.
Good. You may have already answered this question, but I'll still ask it. Give me your why. I mean, why do you play football? Just talk to me a little bit about your motivation.
So my why is my daughter. She's 3 years old, and she the reason why I work so hard and push so hard so I can make her life better and try to get her out of Jersey City. And also my mother, you know, my mother. I've been doing this for my mother for 10 years, you know, trying to make life better. And about a month ago, I lost her. I lost her, and I went up there, I buried her, but I remember just saying to her when she was laying in her casket that I'm gonna keep going for you. I know it's what you want from me, and I'm gonna go hard as ever. So I feel like I got an extra charge to my battery, and I'm gonna go out there and do a lot of great things, knowing she's watching over me now.
Well, I mean, sorry to hear about your loss, man. I mean, I know that's got to be rough, but I know she's going to be smiling down when her baby is
Right.
drafted. I mean, I feel like a lot of people have you, in a draftable, with a draftable grade. So I mean, hopefully you'll be able to hear your name called. I mean, it's probably a third day pick, but I mean, shoot, I mean, I'd take any pick
The,
really.
the, the
But
blessing is the blessing for me is just to get picked. You know, that's the
yeah.
blessing for me, and I'm gonna
Well,
go in there and make some noise.
well, hey man, I mean, even if you aren't picked, I mean, you'll be able to, go out there and showcase your talent. And I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a team out there that's going to give you the opportunity. I would probably, draft you late. That's just me, but um, give your pitch to these guys as to the reason why they need to pick you. I mean, just tell them what kind of player they'd be getting if they, made the selection and called your name.
So, you know, you're gonna get a guy that could take the top off consistently. You know, the energy where I'm coming in, I'm not even just pushing myself, but I'm pushing all the players around me. You know, the person that's gonna come in happy each and every day to try to make your day better so you can have a good day at even coaching. You know, a guy that's gonna go out there and compete and not have nothing to say back to the coach, just listen and learning, and listening and learning and going out there and doing and capitalizing on everything they give me. So, you know, you got a person that's coming in from Jersey City who really hungry, you know, and who also just lost his mom. So he's coming in and he's coming to do his best each and every day to try to help the team that picks and win.
Right. I mean, obviously a very, very emotional guy, but also very spirited guy, you know, ready to come in and you know, hungry and do whatever it takes. I mean, do the dirty work. I mean, whatever it is that you want to do, I'm sure you're willing to do that. So, Frank, this has been cool. I mean, I like being able to, you know, sit down with guys, talk about their journey. It's been great. I do wish you best of luck moving forward. Um,
Thank
no, I know that, you know, you're from Jersey, you know, I'm from Maryland. So, I mean, obviously we bump heads a little bit when it comes to like our fan base,
you.
but, you know, I will continue to be a fan of you regardless what team you go to, man. 'Cause I mean, obviously, whatever team, you know, takes a chance on you, I know they're getting a great dude.
Thank you.
So, best of luck to you, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Again, this is Frank Darby, wide receiver, Arizona State. Check him out.